Hello, I'm Master Instructor Anthony Beeler, and today I want to talk to you about the elements of a good pool stance. There are 4 major elements to a pool stance, and you can remember those by reciting the first 4 letters of the alphabet. There's alignment, balance, clearance, and distance. So let's go to the table and see what those look like. We first need to determine whether you're left or right eye dominant. In order to do this, we want to stand a few feet away from the pool table and place a cue ball at the opposite end of the table. We're going to use 4 fingers to form a circle. You're going to look at the cue ball through that circle. You're going to close your right eye first. Did the cue ball jump? If it did, you're not left eye dominant. Open both eyes back up, then close the left. If you close the left and the cue ball is still in the center, then you are right eye dominant. And I am right eye dominant, and so that's why whenever that I close my left eye, the cue ball remains in the center. Do this test at home and determine if you're either left or right eye dominant, and then we will apply it to our stance as we move forward. Before we get into our stance, the first thing you need to do is aim from a standing position. And you want to stand far enough away from the cue ball that you can see the relationship that the cue ball has onto the object ball. And I like to look at ball overlap whenever I'm aiming the shot. Once you've got your point of aim, then what you're going to do is get the correct distance from the cue ball. You've seen pool players play where that they may come up to a shot like this, and on the first time their head's up really close to the cue ball, and then the next time that they come up to the shot, their head may be further away. And they're actually getting 2 or 3 perspectives, or maybe even more than that, on the same shot. Imagine, for example, that there's 1,000,000 shots in the game of pool. Well, you can multiply that by the number of variations that your head is in whenever you're getting down the shot. So we want to eliminate all that. In order to eliminate that, we want to keep our distance from the cue ball the same as much as possible. So we're going to use our cue as a measuring guide to determine how far our body is away from the cue ball. What I recommend is once you see the shot line, you're going to place the cue at your side. You're going to pin it to your side with your dominant eye on the shot line. And then you're going to just kind of walk forward until the tip is almost touching the cue ball. This cue will serve as that measuring guide that I was referring to, and it will make sure that your body's not too close or not too far away, and that you're getting the same look at the cue ball on each and every shot. Now, once I've got my distance, the next thing I want to do is lock my eyes in on the contact point of the object ball. And once my eyes are locked in on that, then I can get into my stance. As I'm getting down to my stance, I want to be sure that I'm well balanced. My right foot's going to stay in the position that it's at now. It's on the shot line. My left foot will move up, out, or somewhere in between, but it will never ever move back. And as I'm getting down to my stance, it's okay for me to bend at the knees in order to attain what I perceive to be a correct balance. So as I'm getting down, you'll notice that my right foot's on the shot line, my dominant eye's on the shot line, and you're going to also note that as I'm stroking through, my body is not in the way. And by that I mean there's sufficient clearance for me to shoot this shot. If my body was over this way, then my body could get in the way. But I want sufficient clearance to where that when I'm down on that shot, that I can stroke through the ball. As you can see, a good stance serves as the foundation for each and every shot. It's important to be aligned. You need to have your dominant eye on the shot line and your right foot on the shot line if you're right-handed. You also need to have the appropriate balance. You need to have roughly 60% of your weight on your right foot and 40% on the other foot. You also need to have sufficient clearance for each shot that you shoot. You don't want your body to get in the way. You also want to keep your head the correct distance away from the cue ball so you get the same look at each and every shot. Practice these elements, and I think it will improve your pool game.